the other side of that matchup. We're into picks and bans. Both teams now in the NALCS 2-0. That'll change after this game.
Yeah, you're talking about keeping your spirits high. It is hard to have your spirits high when you are getting smashed in lane, and having that mentality where you can go, okay, we're playing for the team is big. But also, I was talking to Adrian before the game, and he just has a big smile on his face, and I asked him what's it like being back with Huni, because he played with him in the Immortals days, and he's like, it's so easy. I literally just have to I don't have to make winning plays, but I have to make a play that like doesn't lose us the game. So we just play safe, right? Because Huni is going to be winning all of his top lane matchups, and they are giving resources to him. Just seems to be like, you know, you have those solo queue games where your top laner's like 2-0 at like 4 minutes. You're like, all right, this one we're probably going to be a bit. Don't mess this up for him.
And that's when you go hard and flash and try to make the play in the bot lane. No, we'll see. Bans right now, Ornn, Braum, and Azir coming from Cloud9, so they definitely want to attack Fenix a little bit, as well as a support pool with maybe some at Huni in the flex pick. And we see the safety of a Tahm Kench Kog'Maw grouping and Zoe on the ban list for Echo Fox. That means Ryze for Jensen to start things off.
Yeah, you typically expect a Malzahar as the counter here against the Ryze. We'll see what Fenix plays, but the Azir being banned out. We saw it last week. Fenix got player of the game for his performance on that champion, just destroying Febiven, who got a pentakill today in that matchup. That was a ridiculous, just kind of a spanking in that lane. I remember looking at that, and it was like level 2. What is going on with the HP bars? And it was Fenix having Febiven underneath the turret and just destroying it.
So Altec says, safe, a nice poke lane for me. He can stay back and keep himself nice and farmed up. Huni takes a Gnar to the top side, and we saw Jayce earlier today already from Chronologic Gaming.
Yeah,
See if we see it again.
This is an interesting pick here from Echo Fox, because like I said, they had red side. They're able to counter pick in 2 different areas if they wanted to, but they go for the Gnar incredibly early on, not even the Jayce or anything like that. And this is not that typical like Huni style champion where you think he's going to be destroying the top lane. It still can accomplish that, but has a little bit more of that team fighting style to it. So it's interesting, because Echo Fox could have counterpicked mid, and they could have really changed it up a bit, but showing their cards of what's going on in that top lane, which is the wild card for them right now, is a little interesting in this pick and ban.
I like this as well. Licorice keeping the champion pool diverse. Again, a unique champion pick for him. So you get that Jayce towards the top side, and our first phase of Echo Fox. Remember, Fenix could take his Cassio.
Yeah, remember I was talking about the fact that Licorice versus the Impact kind of discussion that was going on. Licorice is all about those bruisers. One of the first people to really like bust out the Alawi and have a good time on it. Gangplanks, the Jayce, the Pled. So the Jayce for him is not a far cry from what he's not used to. Of course, in Challenger, it's a different kind of beast there. So is this NA Jayce versus Korean Gnar?
Oh no. Don't cast or curse it already. Tristana on the side of Echo Fox. They don't want to see Sneaky grabbing that. Pinch a few more bot laners as they already have their Ezreal in hand.
Yeah, and I do want to talk a little bit more about that top lane matchup as these bans come through, because this is huge for Licorice. They're giving him a pick that should win that matchup early, and as a rookie in your 3rd game in the NALCS, you are expected to pressure Huni in this matchup. If they give resources towards him with Svenskeren and Jensen, that may be a top lane they can snowball, but if it's something that gets ganked by Dardoch and Huni in return, which showed they were quite a good combo in the last 2 games, you do have to worry when a Jayce is behind like that. So I'm really looking at that featured matchup in the top lane.
We'll see if it gets hit one more time. No, Zach. So kind of, in a way, that makes Licorice a little safer to be in his lane. Doesn't have to ward in any different type of way to keep vision on Zach. So now they go to their 2nd pick phase here. We'll have to see what they decide to go for. Altec deciding whether to lock in that.
I'm expecting the support here. Lane. Yeah, I'm expecting the support here so you can see if the Jayce is actually going to that top. You know, we do see the Ryze, so you would expect Ryze mid, Jayce top. We have seen a Ryze top across the world. I believe it was LPL where it was played, but I would not really expect it since Jensen's Ryze is very clean. Once again, the Taric. This is something that if you think back to the quarterfinals of last Split's playoffs, Adrian and Altec faced off against Sneaky and Smoothie in those quarterfinals on Dignitas versus Cloud9, and they won. They beat Cloud9 and knocked them out of the playoffs, and part of that was the fact that Adrian was on top of the Ardent Sensor meta with the Taric as one of the champions that he could use in teamfight.
See what they have to fight up against this time. Ardent Sensor not going to be there, but they do have the Taric. Cosmic Radiance is going to have to fight against a team that actually works out pretty well. You get the initial burst from Cloud9. You can tell when the Cosmic Radiance is necessary. And actually, they lock in the Jax.
The Jax jungle, is what I am expecting here from Svenskeren. Jax and Camille have become flex picks and junglers over the last few weeks here. And it kind of generates a lot of gold, has good ganking, and the clear is not as bad as you would think. And I really want to see what his build is here because I've seen some people go that tanky Jax, but it's been more towards that bruiser type style where you can get a Trinity Force in there. I remember Svenskeren on C9, people were hyped about this saying he no longer has that TSM leash on him where he has to really play for the team.
A little bit less stress.
He does have to go back to that style where, remember, coming over here, he was that Lee Sin god from Europe.
All over the place, able to get in his opponent's face. What are we kind of expecting to see with this Jax pick? Does he have to get in Dardoch's face early? Is it a loss if he doesn't? Can he play his own game, farm it up, and then find lane pressure? What are we kind of looking for from that Svenskeren?
Remember, scaling is the name of the game on the patch. People have relic shield bottoms, fleet footwork, etc. So the Jax in the jungle can actually contribute to that. The bridge champion in this composition is really the Sivir with the wave clear to get everybody else, because they have two people who scale incredibly well with the Jax and the Ryze, and then there is that 6-item late game, 500 CS win condition Sivir, but the top lane Jayce, you do have to put resources there. So I expect Dardoch and Huni to have a better 2-on-2 in the first few levels.
Going to be interesting. I'm trying to look at how these fights as well will go back and forth. If you have the gotta go fast comp, if you will, from Cloud9 engaging, think of that Cassiopeia ultimate, the Glacial Prison coming out from Sejuani. There's a lot to counter that. Cloud9's gonna have to choose some good ways into these fights. Echo Fox, looks like they'll have to be countering them just on the get-go, unless they get themselves a lead. We're about to be on to the Rift. 2-0 for both teams here in week 2 of the NALCS. Someone's leaving with a loss.
And that means one of these teams will be leaving with a win and 3-0 going tomorrow. That's what I'm hyped about here because Cloud9, this is a team that they have been doing quite well in those early parts of the game. Not spectacular, but then their team fighting, the Cloud9 team fighting comes on 15, 20, 25 minutes, whereas Echo Fox, they have just been smashing their games. They have enormous leads early, but look at this, Echo Fox, like I said, right out of the gate, we just saw an hour-plus game from TSM Optic. Echo Fox, their average game time is the fastest in the league at half of that, at 31 minutes, right on the dot pretty much. So, I'm expecting fast games from Echo Fox.
Slow movement from everybody, just making sure the line of scrimmage is held. And we'll have to see if Echo Fox can get that going. Mainly off a bit of pressure from Dardoch in the early game. We should just expect Jensen, Phoenix to farm things out, to start things off. And we can see what kind of runes we're using around the board. Unsealed for Jensen Sneaky. And there's Altec's Klepto as we would expect.
Yeah, the fact we're seeing the Unsealed Spellbook ×2 for some bottom lanes, we've seen it
Smoothie too.
Earlier today. Supports being able to swap up which one they have. Take Ignite for early lane pressure, then you swap it to Exhaust for people who are fed in the team fights, or even Teleport to get back to lane earlier after a bad back. And I've seen pretty much every summoner spell almost be like swapped out for supports. I've seen cleanses on Tom Kench's so that they can cleanse and swallow somebody. So I think it's really cool that we've seen.
Gotta clear your throat.
Exactly.
Gotta make sure there's no extra frog in there. Simple pushes on the bot side. Looks like he quick and easy level 2 here for Echo Fox. They kind of get Cloud9 pushed in. It shouldn't be too much of a problem. Smoothie says, us first. It's not going to be that easy. A little back and forth with the love taps there as they have a few more relics to use. As well, the push from Licorice towards the top side, and we see good vision from Echo Fox actually on Svenskeren, so they'll have an idea of where he is here in this early game.
Yeah, it's more the full clear here for the Jax. You start scaling pretty much immediately. Just do a full clear, try to get level 4, get your buff. No, is he going to go? He's checking Raptors, actually. So Jax doing the Raptors, you can do it pretty easily with Counter-Strike because you get extra damage every time you dodge a basic attack, and you basically get full damage immediately from it. So the AoE helps a lot. So what he's doing here is he's trying to section off top lane. We've seen it before where you go from one buff on your top side to the other buff on the enemy side as the top laner or as the team that has Jax, right? Or Jayce, sorry, 2 JAA champions. So the Jayce is the big thing. You want to play around this Jayce so you can keep pressuring, right? Khan has done it in the LCK. He constantly has his jungler nearby him, and they're able to provide pressure, and it makes sure that Dardoch, the enemy jungler, isn't there to really shut that down, because that can just completely take the Jayce out of the game. And look at this, Fenix with the counter pick.
Jensen very low. Shield comes down, still has heal. Hold it till he gets to the turret. He's good. The potion chug. And he is going to be all right. Actually holds those summoner spells for himself to get back to lane, but he holds it there. Looks like he's going to try to get one final push. He doesn't have too much mana to do it. Fenix low. He's kind of baiting Dardoch into this one. A flash there. Arctic Assault from Dardoch would get Jensen slowed down. Flash. Oh, Jensen stays. Gets the heal down. Dardoch under turret's going to live in that situation. But a very touch-and-go play from both sides.
But that is 2 summoner spells for 2, both out of Jensen, and then 1 from Dardoch and 1 from Fenix there. Fenix didn't have the mana for that early on, and that's what really made the difference. There have been a lot of changes to Cassiopeia, and I looked at the kind of global pick rate for her. She's only been picked 4 times in over 120 games here.
Quiet down now with those summoners, but it could just mean more action coming to the mid lane. Gotta watch out for the minion aggro there as Licorice gets a few auto attacks in, but still close enough to the turret to give Huni some more harass here.
And now, if you're Svenskeren, he just got his tracker's knife. Go to the top side jungle, ward this up, make it a light bright so that you can spot Dardoch, who's been playing to Huni and Fenix in his last 2 games. That's exactly what he's doing. Got the bruiser jungler. He's gonna go in and try to get vision.
Good bit of damage onto Sneaky here. Smoothie goes for the damage target. Pushes Altec back. Very nicely done in their targeting. And it looks like they come out just a little bit better there. Altec will be able to heal up with his Klepto and Adrian sustained.
I feel like they want to back right now. Altec checking on his gold really quickly as they make sure that he can't get a good back timer. He hasn't actually gotten that much gold out of his Klepto just yet. So he's only ahead about 200 off of that, which, you know, it's something, right? It's half of that first blood gold.
Heck yeah.
But that's basically why Ezreal was taking it all the time, is the fact that it pushes him in parts of that early game and makes it so that he scales and gets sheen faster, etc. But look at that top lane. Licorice is below half versus Huni, and Huni's like, hey, get out of this lane. And Huni, oh man, I like that. He's like, I'm gonna miss a CS, throws the boomerang backwards. He's only 3 CS behind this Jayce.
See how much of a push he can get on the lane here. Teleport should come back in. We see that from the bot lane as well. Sneaky and Smoothie on the swap there to get back and say, well, you're going to waste some time here. We're going to push you into the turret immediately.
Well, exactly like I was saying, I've seen it swapped out for better back timers, so there's no such thing as a bad back timer when you have that TP. And remember, this is with Summoner Spellbook, so it has the reduced cooldown on the teleport in general, so it's not that 5-minute long one.
A little stopwatch to keep yourself safe, so it's not a long walk back to lane, and you're going to be farming out that time anyways.
Oh, that's a solo kill?
Petrifying gaze onto Jensen, has to be careful, just around the edge! He baits Fenix into the fight, and first blood to Jensen.
The collapse from everybody. Because of the TP back, Smoothie was in a better position, roamed up the river, and then Svenskeren, who's been controlling the topside jungle with his tracker's knife, comes down from the top side, and they all collapse on Jensen.
Ooh. Little 1v1 action as Altec steps up to Sneaky, spell shield. We'll see this play one more time. All that vision they have, as you said before, and they're able to activate.
The collapse onto Jensen's position to help him out and kill Fenix, even when he uses his cleanse there, because he had no flash from before. They were able to make the team play faster. And they're taking this because they have 3 here.
Ooh. Very nice for Licorice. That could really turn the top lane around. He is not feeling good, though, stunned up. Wants to keep that red flash over the wall. It's fine for him if he can play safe now. Picks up a few of his goodies. Oh, nah, get Scuttle off that.
Yeah, flash
taking it
for flash there from the top laners, but Svenskeren also using his own. And now the topside control of the jungle is going to go back to Echo Fox here. They have some wards down, and when those expire that are currently in there, you can see, oh, the dive onto Altec.
Flash call as they keep trying to activate around the map.
Yeah, and now the game is in this state where we have supports roaming around, which leaves the AD carries sometimes vulnerable. Adrian went to that top side to try and help make a play, and that left Altec to be shoved in. And now Smoothie rather close to that level 6. He's going to get it in another wave and a half. And they're going for that blue buff, yeah. So the fact that, like I said, that topside jungle goes back to Fox. They're going for Adrian now.
Quick stun, flash is there. He still has an exhaust. He throws it out, throws the heal down. No exhaust just yet. Thinks he can make it out. Exhaust is held as Altec tries to make the fight for himself. And here's Fenix. Spell shield on the first hit, but it does go on to Smoothie. Now they turn around. Svenskeren in a sore spot as he goes down as well. And Sneaky's the only one to make it out alive. Turns good for Fox.
Both teams understand that because the top side went back over to Echo Fox in terms of control, bottom is where they want to be, and Svenskeren goes for that blue buff. They try to reinforce, but the fact that the roam came out earlier from Fenix made a big difference there. Because if Jensen could have kept him occupied, he wouldn't have been able to contribute there, and it probably would have been one kill going over for almost nothing. Let's see that one more time here. Yeah, the roam from Fenix, he's just a little bit sooner. Jensen's hiding in the bush there, and Fenix kind of sees it coming. Yeah, grounds him, pushes him back, and then he sees the opportunity to run past when Cloud9 had extended to get that kill. And no level 6 there for Smoothie just yet, like I had said. He was going to get it in about another wave. Look at this.
Oh, right back into a fight. Sneaky gets the exhaust in the bot lane. Looks like he's within range, but they're on. Sneaky turns at the last second, and Smoothie says, "Don't leave me, bro. We got this." They get the dazzle onto Smoothie, but not enough follow-up coming from Dardoch just off on the wing. I see him in a vision ward. So much fighting, one after the other.
Yeah, Smoothie with the cowbell trample. That E stacked up, gave him the auto attack to stun him as Altec had just gone forward to commit to that. And look at that, like I said, it's not that 5-minute TP. It's much, much less.
Yep. And that means he'll actually have Smoothie back very fast as well, who may decide to hold it, which turns into an extra play for the bot lane coming from Cloud9.
It means that this Alistar, because you don't have to get back to lane as a support if you're not going to do anything like that, you can TP to something like top lane and have a global play. And let's see this one more time here, because it looks like they think he's alone, but they actually did see the Alistar into the bush. And now it just looks like a commitment where they don't hit the stun there. Altec goes in after, and then Smoothie hits him, and the heal comes out, but it doesn't matter because Sneaky's able to get it.
Red buff transfer as well to that bot lane, so they'll be able to add a little bit more pressure and continue that. So Fox coming up with the fight we just saw here in this area. The Smoothie's back in, and Cloud9 wants to make it their area. Gets the arcane shift, he already flashed before. Oh, there's a turret! Sun must have been in his eyes. I guess you give him that one? I don't know. Interesting. But Altec gets out alive on that one for being a bit too far out, which very, very scary stuff here as the game is getting quite active in the bot lane.
Yeah, what happened is Smoothie actually went up, he exited the brush, and he couldn't see Altec to headbutt him back. I just checked it with Fog before. So he just got
vision as he stepped out.
Yeah, so Altec was in the bush, slammed him with the pulverize, and then he walked up to headbutt him down, but the fact that he went out of the bush, he lost vision of Altec and couldn't point and click on him.
Dardoch with a slow move towards top lane. There
couldn't dodge.
No Narbar on Huni, and they melt him down. Oh, one last shot. Licorice getting out by the skin of his teeth. Is there an ultimate to come in? He flashes and gets the Glacial Prison to lock down Licorice.
Oh, man. Yep. Looks like Dardoch trying to just avenge Huni for that top lane. This top lane is going rough for Huni, whereas Licorice, he's doing incredibly well. 10 CS per minute at that mark right now. You expect the Jayce to be able to bully in that matchup, and that's exactly what happened. That turret, almost dead, but the bottom lane already got that first turret.
All right, Zyrene, so what is kind of like the most advantageous thing to do as either team in this situation? Kills are everywhere. How do you stop this? How do you kind of take advantage of the situation, if you will?
Right now, it's kind of all over the place. Nobody's really going for that Mountain Drake just yet. And the bottom lane turret is down. So right now, what you can do as C9 is make a play for 4 people top, try to knock down that turret. But I don't think they want to do that because the Drake is still up, right? So at that point, I feel like you just kind of go back to where you were, play for the Mountain Drake as C9, and then you can swap it later because you have this TP on your Alistar, and your TP on the Sivir's almost up to make cross-map plays.
Such an interesting way to do it. Usually we see that turret go down on the bot side. You already have your AD carry or your bot laner and support towards the top. Push that one down and do whatever you want. But with Spellbook, you can either slow it down or speed it up at your pace if you have that turret.
Yeah, so right now what's going to happen is C9, they're going to go ward up that bottom side jungle as a duo with Svenskeren and Smoothie. You have the jungle support synergy. Always bring a warding buddy. Bring the support if you're the jungler and vice versa.
Absolute proof.
And after some backs where you feel like the enemy jungler's top, you just go in there, put down some wards, and now that's why they played and put Sivir on the bottom side, so she could shove this out. You could get this Mountain Drake. So the next play they could make is they could just reverse the map, swap it, put their Sivir top lane, and then push down that turret. And that's how you keep getting those advantages. Of course, they can still do that with mid lane. It's not as easy to do, but they can still do it.
Sneaky roaming around to meet with the team as he clears out the bot side. That gains a little respect from Altec. He'll have to answer that as the mid lane push will now come in from Jensen here. Sneaky on the side to see if they can make a play, but Sneaky is hatching a ward out there in vision. Back to top side, Licorice and Huni. We've been looking at this lane, 133 to 105, and they've definitely gotten a little jungle pressure from both sides. Now, a little more than that, as we see 13 minutes in. Licorice gets a little bit of love, possibly from Adrian and Dardoch.
This is the prediction swap here from Adrian and Dardoch, but the question is it the double mind game? Since Svenskaren's coming up, Ryze also on the way, so it may be a 4-man guy. Svenskaren's gonna check the bush. He's found Dardoch here.
It's like they're tempting each other. If anything, they're gonna fight over a ward, or just get this wave pushed in and make sure Licorice can get a bit more damage on the turret.
And this is great to see from Cloud9, because I was talking about how their early games hadn't been spectacular, whereas Equifox has just been crushing their opponents at 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and getting massive gold leads. This has really put a damper on it. And you can see here, Cloud9, kind of a weak early start, but that gold lead at 10, hold on though.
Oh, he flashed out of the dazzle. Cosmic Radiance called down as the rest of Cloud9 gets in range, and 5 to the top side for C9. The turret could fall after this if they get their targets, and the wave is just behind them for the cleanup.
Beautiful CC combo there from Cloud9 onto the people that had Cosmic Radiance on them. Even if they're immune, just keeping them in that spot and preventing them from going further underneath the turret was enough to pick up the kill.
My question is,
TP.
how do you dodge Dazzle when there's nowhere to dodge? Ridiculous. Sneaky cleans up the bot side. They don't lose too much pressure around the map, if any. And we'll get to see that one again. What a turn from Licorice.
Yeah, the fact that Licorice was able to get out of that, but then the follow-up here, Svenskeren with the counter-strike, stun onto 3 after Dardoch had given him a little bit of a bump there. Smoothie walks up, he doesn't give a damn with his ultimate on, and then he knocks Adrian in after he knocked 3 up with the Pulverize.
Fast acting right there.
And
Cloud9 making moves towards the top. We wondered when it would happen, and it was just wham bam.
Yeah, and like I was saying, with the teleports being so impactful, and that's why we're seeing some on the bottom lane. And now we have 4 teleports for Cloud9, because Jensen also had Unsealed Spellbook, and this means it is very difficult to make cross-map plays. When Tahm Kench and Ryze were really in the meta even just a year ago, and people were playing around with it, it felt like it was hard to make cross-map plays. Shen always makes you think about those splitters. 4 teleports kind of disobeys the rules of League of Legends typically.
How do you track that?
Exactly, but what happened was, you're going, okay, Altec is shoving bottom lane because he wants to catch up, but you also are going to trade turrets. Teleport means you are just trading all of that, all those kills and all that pressure topside for a summoner spell that has a reduced cooldown on it. So it really does disobey the normal macro that we've had for the last few years regarding League of Legends. So you do have to kind of relearn these things and unlearn some old habits of over pushing.
And look how long lane swaps when they come out took a lot of regions to understand. You're going to get 4 teleports in here. You don't have Mad Lives back in their prime that can get all of those timers down to the very second to be like, hey, all 4 teleports are up or one's going to come up soon.
Oh yeah, there's probably... I wonder if there's ever a window where all 4 teleports are down in this game. Because right now, we still have 2 available for Cloud9, which means there's so much pressure. You always have to consider even just 1 teleport most of the time. Now, 4, 3 of them with reduced cooldown means you really do have to be a little bit paralyzed. I think it's a great strategy up against Equifox, who have played so quick.
It's like you always have this bluff that they have to call or not. Are they going to take the fight? Or are you going to get teleported down? 2 turrets to none right now, which means Equifox still has quite a bit of gold in that front line of turrets to pick up if they do get a fight in their favor. But right now, we saw a huge amount of vision wards in the side of Cloud9, which means they want to get those placed and protected. And here. They'll be able to protect Licorice just a little bit. Glacial Prison comes down. Svenskeren's still pretty tanky, but they're going to use just about everything. Throwing the kitchen sink now at Svenskeren. He's not going to be able to make it out alive. One last hit. Oh, he doesn't go down. They stop Huni in his tracks as Smoothie comes over the wall. How did he get out alive?
TP, baby! Smoothie TP'd into that fight. This is ridiculous. Like I said, it is so hard to track.
Absolutely ridiculous. Huni, the guy who comes up with those kills, then makes more plays, being stopped just short of capitalizing on a few of these plays. They are going to be able to get the turret, however. We were talking about picking up a little bit of that extra gold for them as they've been kind of choked out. But it doesn't mean Cloud9 have stopped making moves on the rest of the map. You have Sneaky in the bot lane, pushing still, and mid lane.
Yeah, but top lane, they are going to be able to get this turret, but they're going to try to trade for mid turret here. And Cloud9 pushing onto that one, but nobody really able to respond here as Phoenix is on the bot side.
Ooh, running back to lane, making sure he gets there fast with his Youmu's as Rift Herald. Shelly tries to knock it down. Dardoch plays off the false sense of security as he looks for an initiation with Shelly on the turret, and one final touch as the minion wave gets back in when C9 can get there. We'll do that in.
Yeah, that's actually going to not let that turret die, and that's the waste of the Rift Herald. Got countered there by Dardoch's positioning plus the collapse. And now Phoenix will push out bottom. Everybody's kind of resetting. Potential Ocean Drake setup in the next 10 seconds here. And this, we really do have to pay attention to Smoothie here when he comes in, because right now, Dardoch, I was expecting him to throw his ulti very early and maybe get a flash out of Licorice or something, but he was saying, all right, he's just going to Q to a minion. There's the TP, and as he comes in, Svenskeren is about to have the finishing touches dealt to him, and Smoothie says no. He's going to headbutt, flash, pulverize the new position. That was sick.
Woo. Counter-strike just at the right time. Smoothie just at the right time. That is one of those just about perfect plays. And they all got out. 5-3 coming up on 20 minutes now. Rift Herald taken and used by Cloud9 as they've had objective advantage throughout the entirety of this game. And not Echo Fox is going to change that here as they get themselves a bit more sustained with an Ocean Drake. See if they can get out here. Get Phoenix fed, nice and scaled up here for the late game.
Yeah, Phoenix, like you said, he's definitely one of the people that has to scale on this team. Probably the best scaler on Echo Fox's side for sure. Whereas Cloud9, it looks like the Jax is going a tank build, so I'm disappointed. But you know, I can still dream. But we'll see. This time, this mid lane turret does go down and opens up the map more for C9.
What would you rather see in his inventory? I mean,
Trinity Force. So I'd rather see him just do a lot of damage. But of course, building tanky in this team composition that only has a single tank with the Alistar, who really doesn't get that tanky early. He's mostly relying on his ultimate. I feel like it's a good choice, especially since you want to be able to get multiple counter-strikes off in a team fight. So you have to live long enough for that cooldown.
Stopwatches as well that are still held here on the side of C9. A little telling that the early game was somewhat in their favor. They always felt comfortable in the fights that they were in. It didn't have to dive too far.
Yeah, if you have stopwatches still up for 20 minutes, either you forgot about them, or you know, things have been going well.
Things are going well. Now Azania's for Jensen as he flips that back into a nice core item. 1-0-1 for him. Even CS in that mid lane between Phoenix and Jensen as they stack their tiers all game. Had a little bit of back and forth, but not too much.
Yeah, Jensen also swapped out his teleport for a cleanse. This means that he's probably going to be split pushing and then looking to cleanse ulti Zhonya's away. Whereas once that's down, you can kind of go for the teleport and split push again. But the cleanse, I think, is quite intelligent here once you have the rank 2 ultimate with the Ryze ulti. Echo Fox, though, seeing that the split push is coming through, they're going to group 4 here, unanswered top lane.
3K gold lead for Cloud9. They try to stave off this turret damage. Echo Fox still feels comfortable. Huni has a teleport that he can get to any ward right now in the mid lane. And Licorice was already trying to make that move back and forth. He won't have any Fog of War to attack from, so we'll have to see here. Fox playing safe, knowing they're a little bit behind here, trying to take this mid turret out.
Yeah, they're behind about 3,000 gold, and most of that gold is the difference in that kind of across the board. The bottom lane is actually even in the 80 carries, but hold on.
Oh, sneaky.
Perfect counter.
Cosmic Radiance is down. To get that from 2 members is perfect if the rest of the team can get here. Small rotation from Jensen as the Realm Warp up if he does want to get into the fray. It looks like they all just kind of say, I can do anything, you can do better, and that's escape from the fight at this point.
And we're seeing some great combos here. Look at that, another. But nobody's really here to follow it up.
1-0,
keep chasing.
2-0. Who actually wants to continue the fight? Realm Warp comes in, and they get him out.
Party portal. Get them out. Get everybody out.
That was interesting too.
Baron.
Echo Fox felt like they had the upper hand the whole time. Great wards, but they're not where they're actually coming from. C9 is coming from Fog of War here. 2 vision wards down. It's not going to be that. Somebody has to put their body in the pit. 6,100 on the Baron. Dardoch wants to go in. Remember, Glacial Prison is down, so there's not huge crowd control here coming in from Echo Fox. Huni's on the right side. Half Gnar bar. And it is Licorice to the back, but he does not want to get too close to that hammer form. Trying to get top up. That is Sneaky going down. Now they're going to be able to take another one as Smoothie falls. Adrian very low as Cosmic Radiance has been used. And it looks like Echo Fox is finally able to turn this fight around. It's actually been happening for the past 30 seconds in mid lane. And now to Baron, as Jensen, trying to size up the rest of the members of Echo Fox, cannot find a health bar to zero out.
Yeah, Jensen does have flash, but I feel like that would be such a risky play to make there. But that was Huni TPing in on a flank sooner than Licorice. He was earlier than him, but he still had to fill up that Gnar bar. Got knocked out by Smoothie, and then really Huni getting to that point where he could transform was key here as we see this again. Like, there's so much damage coming out from Fenix when he can get in there. So what they're doing is they're trying to play for cooldowns a bit. They got the stun. Huni's coming in. The flash is away from the Counter-Strike and the Jax, but Huni gets knocked out, comes back in, and he's at that point where he gets that Gnar bar fast, goes up faster as you level, and then the Gnar onto 2 people. But the fact that Smoothie got the hourglass off was huge to delay him dying and falling down.
But what a scatter as well. Great job by Echo Fox to have the vision to lead that fight in the beginning.
Well, the fact that they got the ultimate and the Zhonya's out of Jensen, immediately said Baron time, went for it as a bait. And like I said in Champions League, the Jayce has to crush the lane, and he hasn't been that like 40 plus CS ahead right now, not smashing it. He got the top lane turret with the help of Svenskeren early on, but Huni has been actually even in levels, ahead in levels for a little bit of the game. When I watched them at level 11 to level 12 with Huni still being higher, Huni has done well in this lane to kind of stop the bleeding, and the team fight effect, like I said in Champions League, of the Gnar is definitely higher than the Jayce's, and we saw it there with the TP.
So we kind of see that Cloud9 want to be able to get those pokes in, have Licorice fire in a few of those shock blasts before they really get to the fight. The featured matchup doesn't really allow us to get 2 tanks going in at each other, which makes me a little sad. They both have kind of different jobs to do here in Gnar and Jayce.
Well, that makes it more exciting for me because it means that one person has an advantage and the other person wants to circumvent that by playing to their strength, right? The Jayce wants to split push, and the Jayce wants to knock down turrets, whereas the Gnar wants to be able to try and match, but then go for team fight. But look at this, the split collapse onto Huni.
Tank onto Licorice, that's going to be shot number 4, 5 coming in. There's the last. Shock blast coming in, not accelerated, and the kill goes over to Jensen, so they actually do start to work cross map. They have a wall of members creating a little bit of security in the jungle, and a quick attack means Huni and the bottom turret down.
I'm just trying to rack my brain for Cloud9's composition of how you would really strategically play against this team that has so many teleports and semi-globals and globals. And it's very difficult because you always have to consider what the other move is, right? Because a typical 1-3-1 composition, you'll have Jayce in a side lane, Ryze in the other side lane, and then you have your 3-man unit with the Sivir for wave clear, so you can't be just sieged on and have your turrets get knocked down. But now, there's so much collapse. If you go for somebody in one of those side lanes, teleports come out, Ryze ulti comes out. The collapse to reinforce that person is so strong with this composition that Echo Fox, I feel like they're trying to fix a plane mid-flight right now. You're trying to fight this king composition and navigate around it and figure out what you need to do. Also, it's like, whose teleport is that? Which guy? That was the support.
Do we have to worry? Is it going to come in?
I mean, that's actually a legitimate worry. Like, what if it's like, I don't know whose this is. If it's the Alistar, then it's a bad situation. If it's a Sivir, it's a great situation. But I feel like you back up if you don't really know whose it is. So the worst case scenario, you end up pretty much getting wiped.
Licorice getting hit up, they'll be able to...
Oh
my God, no way, Dardoch! The Arctic Assault prediction onto Licorice. Like a moth to the flame, goes down 7-7 as they look towards the Baron.
He read him like a book with that prediction. That was sick. Dardoch was known for the clean Lee Sin, but this guy playing some tanks here, showing he is actually grown. He may have it all. Let's see what happens here. Jensen on the side.
That'll put you on top of the world. Dardoch feeling good, and the smite to come after that. Svenskeren still there. They don't want to play the 50-50, so they get dirty with the fight. And Sven's down to half HP. Altec over the wall is going to be on the front, and they're going to be able to deliver the last bits of damage, even with Counter-Strike up. Fenix sinks his fangs in, and Echo Fox turn up the heat.
That was great from Echo Fox. We saw Fenix get chunked out by Jensen on the side, who's trying to provide threat. Fenix throws out the miasma, slows him down, and then says, everybody run at the other flank. Here's TP, though. This time, it's Licorice, and
a double TP.
You have Sneaky on the other side.
Here we go. Smoothie's going to come in. No ultimate to come in from him. He is just a distraction here. Pulls them off. Licorice is the damage. The shock blast only hits Adrian and really isn't dealing the AoE damage they would like. Baron's down to half. The fight goes back onto Jensen, and he throws the Seraph's Embrace down, but only for so long. Zanya's
it's a
portal
stall.
out. Fox want the whole fight. Sneaky to the back line, but does he have enough to 2v1? Licorice on the backside. Jumps in with the hammer as they lose Jensen, and low health bars from Fox. Could be microed around. Over the wall comes Huni. The wallop comes in from both him and Dardoch as the Bass brothers solidify another kill, and Licorice is left to watch with just a half mana bar.
After that hour-long game, it's like, we're ready to go. Svenskeren is back. He's got the smite. Look, see what happens. Licorice trying to poke it, stopping him up.
Miasma down so he can't break that barrier. Flash is there if he tries to get in. They continuously start it. They continuously stop it. An Ocean Drake, keeping them slightly topped up from every fight they've had that they took earlier in the game.
Can Sven do it?
One more time over the wall.
He's in.
1600, 12,
oh,
7. Baron steals the Baron. Cloud9 come up huge after fighting for the last 2 minutes.
What happened? That sequence of events.
Why would you still go for Baron?
It took like 3 minutes because of sunk cost, Riv. You've already put so much into it.
Really good answer. They were pushed to their limits as well with not wanting to do it. And here's the final portion of that fight.
This is the beginning of the final portion. Jensen only goes a little bit because at that point, in order to get a long-range Realm Warp, you have to click on your mini-map to do it. He's clicking on his screen as far as he can. And right here, Sneaky, when he gets stunned up, it's big because he could come in, land crits across multiple people, and maybe finish off Fenix. But right now, let's go fast forward. Licorice dead. Svenskeren gets in with Counter-Strike up. Huni went over to try and deal with him, so he's not in the pit anymore. And boom, gets it down to 700, smites it with his 800 damage smite.
Oh, we had the confidence from Dardoch hitting the prediction ult, and then the ult from the smite from Svenskeren. The junglers are on fire right now, and the fights are not stopping. Adrian very close to going down. Cosmic Binding keeps alive. Smoothie now the next one on that list to be on the ground. Sneaky's in the eyes of the enemy team as he kites back the fight to go for a kill for himself. Retribution onto Huni before he goes down. Phoenix and Dardoch very low. Altec tries to step forward. Triple kill. Dardoch now to kite out the fight. The rest of the team is going for minions.
He's got Warmocks.
Dardoch says, let's play Ring Around the Rosie.
He's got Warmocks. He just wants to stay away, get all that HP back, and Jensen's going to give up the chase.
Absolutely insane. Neither team is giving each other a chance to even breathe outside of these fights. The moment they see each other, they are engaging.
Man, Echo Fox just constantly reminds me of the Immortals roster from 2016 with Huni and Adrian on it, playing to that top side. And even when they get behind, it's just like they're going to find a way to have a TP team fight where Huni finds his way in. But now we're seeing people like Dardoch, Fenix step up.
You remind me of the old LMQ aggression, man. We're alive.
Whoa, you're going back even further.
We can fight. We're alive. But here it is again. They're alive. They can fight.
Yeah, doesn't matter who we think they look like. They are Echo Fox in 2018. And this team, this roster, looking completely revitalized from a lot of these guys. We had seen Huni have kind of a discouraging finals at Worlds, but look at this. Adrian gets off just in time. And then Sneaky actually does get finished off here by the boomerang on the way back after the death rattle there from Huni. And then Fenix really kind of cleaning up that last part of the fight with Altec. And then this is what ended up making it a 2 for 4. That fight looked close. You would think it's something like a 3 for 3, but it ended up being 2 times as valuable there for Echo Fox.
All right. We're actually not fighting out of a replay. This is amazing.
I know.
This is good. This is good.
Drink of water, you know.
32 minutes in, 2 mountains. Now, it definitely means C9 is going to be able to make quick work of any structures or objectives when they get there. Right now, those getting picked up. A very nice Infernal for Echo Fox in a pivotal part to continue scaling Phoenix into this game. And having Huni teleport to the right plays. Big vision plays from Echo Fox helped with what happened before that Baron. And then a 50-50 Baron is a 50-50 Baron. And now we're here.
Yeah, that Baron, I don't even want to think about what the percentages were on that one, because pretty much you would expect that C9 were going to lose it.
Yeah,
Svenskeren
absolutely.
Kept them in the game. But then the next fight, everybody kind of loses the Baron because they die. And even then, it's like, okay. Now we're finding ourselves in a 1,000 gold difference game with Echo Fox being up. Turrets are even. Now it comes down to the play. And you can see Sneaky Smoothie, they say, okay, we don't have that lead anymore. No more TP Fiasco. We need team fight summoner spells. Sneaky with the cleanse so that if he gets ultied or stunned, can keep operating. Because the last 2 times, remember, he got stunned by Huni, and then that made it so that he just got 100-0'd. And Smoothie now with the exhaust to prevent somebody like Phoenix from dishing out all this damage, whereas Adrian's been able to apply that exhaust in some fights.
We can just see a shock blast, basically hitting the entire team of Echo Fox. What is it going to take to have Licorice actually deplete those health bars again with that shock blast?
I think it's going to take a lot, because Jayce, the lethality doesn't do much for him. The Black Cleaver requires you to land multiple attacks. This Jayce build is more split pushy so that you can one-on-one somebody for an extended duration. And then get to the turret, and if you take damage, you heal up with Blade of the Rune King.
Right.
But I feel like he's going to start going towards a little bit more team fight. You can see the QSS already. They're kind of transitioning towards more team fight here, whereas C9 had split push in mind, and it got shut down by the team fighting of Fox.
That's a scary thing for Jayce, though. Any hammer form in that fight kind of means they're in there for the long haul. It becomes a very dangerous position for him to be in. Hopefully Licorice can do that early damage for C9 before he is forced into that melee position. 17-9. Echo Fox has catapulted themselves so fast here in the early game. Even with that Baron loss, they kind of had C9 at such a position where it was their way to recoup position back into the game here. And Echo Fox is still finding more ways to knock C9 down a little bit.
Yeah, and Echo Fox, pretty much across the board, you can see most of their kills are from those team fights because of all the assists that they have. And look at that, Huni with the Guardian Angel and level 18, just like Jensen with that level 18 himself. So we're approaching that area where people have 1 more item to buy, 2 more items, and those max levels are coming out shortly.
4-0 and 10 for Dardoch here, the only person in the game that has not gone down, and has quite a bit of initiations for the team. See him still on the front line trying to make those happen. A cleanse as well, as we kind of said. Unsummon or a summon spellbook switching around. Unsealed spellbook words. And the exhaust coming out. So the teleports aren't playing such a big role here for Cloud9. It's what can they do to stop these fights from Echo Fox that we were thinking about in the early of the game, because that's starting to come to fruition.
Yeah, and Echo Fox now, I think they actually kind of win the split push game versus the Jayce. You just have to worry about not getting collapsed on. You can see Huni's pushing up further than he did before in the split push because there aren't as many teleports. It's just really Jensen who can ulti to a side lane and really kind of collapse on it. So Huni pushing up as his team prepares for this Baron that's in 8 seconds.
Good vision already. Smoothie on a bit of a solo run to see what wards he can clear here. It could be dangerous. He's got the team enough behind him, if you will, to keep it safe. Phoenix knows. The rest of the team, they're not even very poke-oriented, but they said, we can continue to get 10% off of these health bars back and forth to start this Baron very much in our favor.
So what Huni did is he shoved out the bottom lane. He made sure that he didn't transform. He didn't even attack a ward to start getting transformation.
That's
so
a good eye.
He's now going to flank instead of having to TP in, and they're going to try to go for a flank here.
This Glacial, Huni jumped over, so he's trying to proc his own now.
It's not that
Radiance
far.
comes down. A little miscommunication. That means C9 may feel more confident about the fight, but they still have to funnel through a choke point. Echo Fox can fight very well in. Licorice now on the right side, has to be careful, but knows he has distance to play with. with that Sejuani ult down as both teams jockey for position. Phoenix is the target.
Sven went in.
Is down. Sven very low to be the first one to go in, and they take Jensen down immediately. 60 seconds on the clock as Cloud9 health bars turn from blue to red immediately. Licorice cleanses out, goes down to the ignite, or poison, I should say, as well. A double kill coming in for Altec, and another explosive fight from Echo Fox.
Another sweeping teamfight victory for them. 4 kills to 0 there. Because they had tried and kind of flirted with a teamfight before, Jensen's ultimate plus Zhonya's were down, and so they go on him with the flash from Huni and the stun before he has to change back into mini Gnar.
And these, it looks like this can only happen more within the next few minutes. The way this game is going, the composition you're looking at with all these summoners down, that only favors Echo Fox for another fight just like this.
Yeah, watch Huni's Gnar bar here because Svenskeren goes in, and then right before Huni really does have to transform back, he gets the stun combo onto Jensen, who's not fast enough on the cleanse flash. He was not expecting that to be the move as he approached just so slightly.
Clean up around the board. No 50-50 on the Baron this time, and you actually saw, now with a little bit more defenses, even the Gargoyle Stoneplate Svenskeren went down quite fast with that targeting.
And you kind of think it's your opportunity as Svenskeren to jump in and do that because Adrian's Cosmic Radiance was down. So if you get a multi-man stun, you can really just win the team fight from the start without having the Taric prevent your team from doing damage.
That back line presenting itself. Phoenix was in such a good position. Still works same way for C9. Some of the cleanses are down. I'd say these summoners being down helps Fox, but there's a few of those windows C9 gains out of a big fight like that too. They're just very small windows. And the Elder Drake here, uncontested, not something you usually see in a game. Echo Fox will be able to pick this one up.
Echo Fox with that double elemental Elder Drake here. We'll pick that up. They still have that Baron buff for 2 more minutes, so they can do a lot of work here. But look at this top lane. 3 people looking to punish Huni. And I gotta say, this Huni looks like he was on SK Telecom for a bit because I remember Immortals Huni. Push in, keep pushing, keep going, right? Keep trying to find advantages.
Someone's in my lane, I can fight this guy.
Exactly, and here he's saying, nope, my team is gonna do all the work here. They're gonna do the heavy lifting. Absolutely. I need to not just go in.
And look at the distraction he's causing now as well. 3 members, instead of getting a push, are able to focus him. Flashes as well, being pushed away. Blast cone left and right, gives a good wallop, throws the house at them as well, and still buying time with the summoner.
The team is winning the game.
Angel. Easy for Huni to just kind of keep himself from going down. Then the Guardian Angel helps. The final touch is being put on the Nexus. Both teams coming in 2-0.
Cosmic Radiance, they're going to try to burn it. They're burning it
with a loss. But who was going to leave with the win? Cloud9 doing everything they can. It looks like they may be able to choke out Echo Fox in the last moments of trying to take the base. 40 minutes on the clock. And Cloud9 keep the game alive.
Yeah, they don't get Adrian. That's the only person that they don't get. And now Licorice is going to TP to the top side. Wait, Adrian makes it back in time.
Be back. That Taric wave clear, gigantic. No, I'm just kidding.
But he does have Baron. That's the big thing.
A good bit of damage on the turret and the minion denial that he presents with Baron as the last one alive. But it shows you Cloud9 has only had that lane pushed since about 30 minutes, and it's only been that lane. So much control of the game from Echo Fox, and it puts them here 40 minutes into the game.
And it looked like the call was for Huni to stop backs and just keep people occupied. But then the Cosmic Radiance comes out here. Altec ends up being the target. Of course, that's exactly what they need to go on when he's dealing that much damage to the Nexus. And Phoenix not able to provide those finishing touches because the Cassiopeia, really doesn't have that great object damage against those structures.
When you're saying your team, just hit the Nexus!
Well, that's what they all said. They were all like, let's hit the Nexus, let's just
Somebody didn't hit it. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, Phoenix had a double kill in all of that, so I'm gonna wonder. But no.
Was he not throwing snakes at the Nexus?
Pretty sure he was just throwing snakes at the Nexus and then, turning over his shoulder to hiss at people and give them the twin fangs.
Gotta be aggressive. 8-2-10. He's done a good job so far. Almost 400 CS for the mid laners. Already hit by Sneaky. You can expect Sivir to have a big minion backpack for herself as she continuously clears waves. Summoners are just coming back up. Phoenix's flash is about to be there. Jensen using his recently, but Sneaky and Smoothie keep themselves safe and guarded on the back line. Next fight probably means the game if it is all in favor of Echo Fox. So C9 playing very, very safe here for this defense.
We're seeing a lot of interesting item choices here. Double Knight's Vow for Echo Fox, and then they have the Locket on Dardoch only. They have a Zeke's Convergence on Adrian. He's had it for a while so that he can boost all of that damage up with whoever he's actually on. I can't tell right at the moment. It looks like Altec. He's actually...
Yeah, it looks like Altec because there's Knight's Vow and Phoenix.
Yeah, it just it looks slightly different. The little circle under their feet has a different pointer. So yeah, going to try to increase their damage. And on the other side, you have no Knight's Vow, except just now Svenskeren purchases his Knight's Vow. So the team fighting power of Echo Fox was really high in keeping their carry safe. And now let's see, looks like he's actually with Sneaky here in terms of the Knight's Vow.
How good would it be if they actually had a fight that lasted that long for those many auto attacks on Sneaky? You can see the ricochets starting to become very powerful now, but Echo Fox is just imploding Cloud9 as soon as they activate these fights. 23-13. Jensen controls the bot lane here. Doesn't have a teleport, so he's got to be careful about how long he stays. He just wants to cut this wave off so the team can work around the map safely.
Yeah, send a magic damage dealer that has a semi-global to go clear the wave. Perfect. It makes perfect sense. And Jensen, he does still have one more item he needs to purchase right now. He has 2,500 gold in his inventory, so working towards looks like a death cap, and it's going to go into his inventory. So Jensen is now at that 6-item full build here.
Huni too, big man over there. Bloodthirster, Starix, Frozen Mallet.
Expecting to see Sneaky maybe sell his boots for something soon. Has 2,700 gold, so that may come through. Whereas Cassiopeia, no boots, so you do have to have that last 6th item, truly 6-item build comes out from her. And then Baron's in a minute, and that's really what Fox have been playing around. We saw an explosive early part of the game, and now, like 36 kills later, things kind of slowed down towards that middle part because they're playing around these Baron timers. So you don't want to fight and blow flashes 2 minutes before Baron comes up. You really do want to fight and have a fight for that Baron where the victor does get much more. And at this point, the victor may get the game.
The easiest things to tell yourself in your own game. We just have to wait. Flash engage, flash engage.
Yeah, you flash engage, you kill 2, but then you can't shove lanes, you can't really get
nothing was actually
any
ready
objective.
And then you actually need that for the next fight here. Very patient hands on all of the pro players. 45 minutes in. 5,000 gold lead, however, not meaning too much at this point. Yeah, Echo Fox is probably a bit more powerful, but it's up to the players of how this fight will be sorted out here.
Yep, and we see the 6th item come through for Sneaky, who ended up selling his boots. So we see that 100% crit build come out from the Sivir. So every ricochet will have tons of numbers.
And if it doesn't crit, invite your local support. No, I'm just kidding. Oh, the fight in Svenskeren. I thought was going to take the hit, but Dardoch not wanting that initial target.
Yeah, there's just vision control all over the Baron pit for Echo Fox. So now they got to play for poking, blue trinkets, and then that bottom wave push. So Huni just turned Mega. I don't feel like this is the best time to go for a Baron. You're going to wait until he can stack up that Gnar bar again. Of course, the period in which he can't stack it is much lower. Svenskeren's going to try to just dodge out a bit.
Pretty wide on the wave as well. Not a fight they would have gotten. However, it gives Altec a little rising spell flux. Headbutted back as Phoenix. But Smoothie puts himself in a really sore spot here. Cosmic Radiance comes down, and this is Fox's fight to be won. And it looks like they're going to be on to Svenskeren. Jensen gets himself in. Seraph's Embrace and Locket goes down. A lot of extra health added onto the team in shields, but it's not going to be enough. Echo Fox looking to clean up the rest of the members of Cloud9. Jensen heads for the Fountain for Solace, and the inhibs now going down.
It's a 3 against 2 right now. So we're going to see what happens here. Both carries up for Cloud9.
A blue buff for Altec means he can just keep firing in. Adrian and Phoenix trying to stay on the front line.
As soon as you let them close to that Nexus, they're going to try to go after Altec here. Jensen
Miasma goes down. That means he can't
going
get through the skies. Nexus getting hit up. 60% HP, 50%. Oh, hits him back there. He's not going to get hit up by the Fountain Laser, though. Shot still coming in from Altec.
They got to reach Altec.
Licorice gets hit. Licorice gets hit, but they still take down the Nexus. Adrian swings the hammer, and Echo Fox are 3-0 in the NALCS.
Oh, baby, it's fun. It's Fox. These guys have such exhilarating games to watch. Absolutely, just adrenaline pumped from start to finish. My heart is pounding after that because those situations where people are just skirmishing back and forth, you have to have such mental alacrity as a player to really identify what you can do in those situations and especially what you can't do. And Echo Fox have that fast thinking.
What a game around the board. for Echo Fox, starting off a tad slow, but like you said, understanding, saying, oh, there's a kind of a side lane doing a lot of work here. Huni played very conservative in the top lane when he knew he was getting focused in that early part of the game. And they were able to hold off a kind of fantastic early game there from Cloud9, where they started to run amok around the map.
Absolutely insane. Echo Fox moved to 3-0. This is a team that people were saying, you know, they got to keep that momentum up, but it looked like even when they lost the early game, their heads were still in the game. Absolutely. And they knew what they needed to do. They lost a Baron to Svenskeren, who had stolen it and delayed the game longer for Cloud9 to potentially stall it out to where they have a Sivir and they have a Ryze that can actually deal a lot of team fight damage later. And they really, Echo Fox did navigate the strategy of the 4 teleports into eventually forcing Cloud9 to swap that up and play a team fighting game that Fox eventually won.
It seems like they knew themselves. It comes down to a point where like, well, that many teleports almost doesn't scale into late game, if you will. Are you really going to wait on your AD carry to teleport, or they're going to be there already? So they said, this hurts right now, but we got to Rocky this and take a lot of punches.
Yeah, and really, watching those team fights, there's just so much that goes on in them as well. Like that last fight, where Smoothie went in for a headbutt, he went to go pulverize, he was stunned. And that's why it delayed him from laying the Q down. These tiny things that affect these players in those moments and make it look like one of those moves where you go, what is he doing? But if it had worked out, it's a different team fight altogether.
Yeah. I want to give props to Echo Fox's draft as well in this. If you do see C9's composition getting ahead, we talked about that. Dardoch can Glacial Prison that initiation, the Petrifying Gaze initiation coming in. Echo Fox really had a way to play from behind in this situation as well.
And I like it because it's not a Huni show. They didn't go for a, the counter pick for Huni top. He has a winning lane. They're showing they have more diverse strategies, and that Huni can blind pick a top laner like Gnar, play for the team, not give up a lot of kills, take kind of a hit in lane, and then Phoenix, Dardoch, Altec, and Adrian will be able to bring up the rear and carry a lot of the weight.
We'll see if they can keep it up. 3-0 now, and to get the thoughts on how this game played out, let's send it over to the State Farm Analyst Desk.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. A crazy action-packed game
of the year.
Game of the year? Squad,
Yeah.
possibly in the running for game of the year here, just the beginning of week 2. But both 2-0 teams going toe-to-toe here. Echo Fox being the one that moves to 3-0. My friend George here really struggling today. On the flip side, you buying into Foxcoin
at the right time.
Feeling pretty good about that investment. Still on the upswing.
Yeah, especially how this game played out, where it wasn't just Huni smash Licorice at the end, what we already knew about this team. They actually competed with C9 over the entire game.
All right, and as we talk about the conclusion of this game, I do want to pull up the replay of the last minute or so, the Nexus defense for Cloud9, and ultimately the victory secure.
And this was a huge moment because just prior, Licorice had actually solo killed Huni. Otherwise, this isn't even close. But now you're just kind of playing keep away with the Nexus in incredibly narrow margins. Fox needed to protect Altec as much as possible. He nearly gets hit into the Nexus, and man, was this close. At this point, Adrian says, screw it, I'm just hitting the Nexus. He gets the extra attack speed from casting the Taric heal and gets it.
Yeah, that's obviously a crazy situation. That also happened earlier in the game on top of the Baron steals that one on.
The whole second time they tried it.
Whole game was obviously influenced by a variety of members at different points.
Okay, that's a given. Now, I want to return to that featured matchup, right? We came into this game with a very specific focus. We wanted to see how Licorice, the newcomer here on Cloud9, from Challenger, how would he stack up against the likes of someone like Huni, right? Arguably the best top laner in the league, as said by many coming into the season. And so, from the outset, Jayce versus Gnar. Let's first establish not only their rune choices and what those do, but therefore what the expectations are of these players in that laning phase.
Exactly. I'll just start with the Jayce right now because the Jayce is often seen as a lane bully who doesn't necessarily get to team fights too hard. So his ability in lane is to try and get a CS lead and avoid gank. So I actually like his rune choices here, going Taste of Blood and Zombie Ward, because they had a double Zombie Ward between themselves and the Jack's jungle to give him as much safety as possible with which to try and push Huni in.
And you saw the secondary tree on the side of the Gnar, much more defensive focus with the Resolve tree, understands that he's on the back foot a lot of the time.
Okay, so what should Gnar actually be doing in lane then? What do we consider a successful lane phase for a Gnar?
A Gnar falling behind against a Jayce is totally fine. Jayce is trying to build a CS lead, pressure under turret, and get kills. kills or take the turret down. Gnar, keep up and farm despite getting pressured a lot. Find the team fights later on in the game and punish the opponent with ganks. If the Jayce is up against your turret, make sure you find opportunities to kill him.
All right, so that's what we should see, or rather what we want to see. What did we see?
Yeah, well, at this point, we actually saw the lane playing out to expectations with, I think, a little bit of an overachieving from Licorice right here. Had a very large CS lead, and they were able to execute a successful dive for the most part. But right at the end, it gets a little bit dicey, and the kill is traded back over to Dardoch with a nice Sejuani ult.
Right. You have to flash for that ultimate.
And this move was amazing from Licorice.
Yeah, absolutely amazing. He knows his team is there near him, so despite Echo Fox going aggressive, he doesn't back away, doesn't flash out. He wants to bait them in as perfectly as he can. Great micro to keep him out of the stun of Taric, baits them in, and then that is the play that allows them to break the turrets, and that's pre-15 minutes.
Yeah, and we talked about in our countdown show how these are both contenders. We labeled them as that.
Yes.
And you can see not only the players playing around the matchup, but the teams playing around the matchup, because when the Jayce is in the game becomes about Jayce, which is a pretty bold move by C9 to opt into here. And if we were to grade the laning phase right there, I would give Licorice about an A+ and Huni a B+, because he did fall a little bit farther behind than normal.
Do you align with those grades?
The only thing I would do different is I'd probably give Huni an A- because there's a lot more going around on the map, so Dardoch couldn't go top as much as you might have wanted.
And I gotta say, Licorice versus Huni, as it being a featured matchup, Licorice showed up today based on the expectation.
Right,
in the lane.
I mean, because that's the thing, right? You're giving him an A or an A- in the face of Huni. Again, it's the context of the matchup that makes it more impressive for the rookie top laner to have performed. But it doesn't stop there, right? You can perform well in lane phase, and if you don't translate any of those advantages into more advantages, you're not going to get the victory. That's essentially what happened here. But I want to take a look at what we expect from these two champions in that mid-game, team fighting phase, and then assess from there.
Well, assuming that the Jayce has built a lead, takes the turret down, that kind of thing, you basically want to keep doing that all over the map and keep the Gnar pinned under turret, away from his team. Don't let him build up Mega Gnar and be a threat in team fights or anything like that. And then if you do have to group up with the team, try to find backline poke onto the enemies and look for your opportunity. You're kind of an assassin in that way.
You don't give the Gnar chances to be Gnar in team fights. That's why Gnar is a blind pickable champion, so to speak, because if you get the Gnar counter pick, you can beat them in lane, but if someone picks a laning counter, you're now better in team fights. So based on the matchup and the situation of the game, Huni now needs to teleport into fights to get the flanks.
Right, so Gnar is a sweet hybrid, but it's dependent on the matchup to know which style of play you need to execute on. All right, so we kind of have our expectations set for that 15+ minute mark. What happened? Did these guys fulfill those expectations?
Yes and no at points. I think Huni did a really good job about finding times to come in. Here, he doesn't actually have his mini built up because he was dealing with the Jayce, Mega built up. So even though he comes in this fight, he's mini, and he understands that, doesn't go too aggressive, and Echo Fox does a good job kind of kiting this fight out and taking it slow, and Jayce starts wrapping around the backside.
Yeah, but also compare the effectiveness of the flanks here. He does get Mega, he gets basically the one-shot onto Sneaky, and later, you can see that Jayce tries to come in, but as soon as he gets hit by the Cassio ultimate, which, by the way, amazing by Fenix, don't want to undersell the team play right here, it's much less effective. The Jayce, if he's going to be there, needs to have setup rather than just an immediate burst on the back line. So this one favored Huni, but it did continue as he's now keeping Huni out of lane with some nice assists from the rest of his team.
Right, you can obviously bring resources to the Jayce to get that kill for your team, and then you can take those turrets down. The big problem was there were a number of times Licorice did end up grouped with the team and started getting picked off and was unable to find effective team fights when they did happen.
Yeah, and I think Echo Fox did have a stronger 5v5 composition, so as far as playing true win conditions, that's actually not the fight C9 would have wanted to take. But you see how little effectiveness Licorice actually had in that moment when compared to Huni.
And it's hard to say, oh, Licorice messed that team fight up, because C9 shouldn't have been trying to force right there. It was the Alistar.
Right, that's a team decision.
Right, it's a team decision, but at the end of the day, the champion can't really perform in that team situation. So for that part, I would probably give Huni an A again, and Licorice about a B or B-.
Yeah, I'd give Licorice a solid B right there, because I think even the solo kill he got at the end of the year might even bump it a little bit, but it's because he got caught in so many of these team fights. Chicken or the egg, he shouldn't have been there.
All right, so now let me ask you, we've given the letter grade in the matchup. Do those letter grades match your expectation of Licorice coming into the season? He's been a relative unknown, and a lot of questions were about how he would stack up. Do you think B is serviceable for week 2 on Cloud9 as a rookie?
I mean, A+ laning phase, B mid-game, he was neck and neck with Huni the whole game, and both teams were playing around that pretty well. So Licorice is the real deal. Echo Fox also played very well, and Huni's a force to be reckoned with.
Final thoughts.
I think this is a great game for both teams to highlight how they're both going to be huge contenders moving forward. Nothing about this game made me think any less of them.
Yeah, there were 4 TPs on C9 at one point, right? Echo Fox came from behind at a Baron steal. Like, there's so many cool things about this game. I'm glad we got to reheat the feature match.
An amazing game. Somebody had to win. That team was Echo Fox. You can see 2 members from that matchup, Huni and Sneaky, a little later in the LCS Lounge. But up next, 2 more undefeated teams square off as 100 Thieves and Team Liquid look to hold on to first place. We'll be right back.